Hello everyone, Scott here from Pillow with an information video on the coronavirus, and namely, very specifically, the 14-day self-quarantine period. What happens if this affects your property? Well, I know about this because it happened to one of ours. Now, it all worked out pretty cool, pretty perfectly, because the guests that were there said, listen, we've phoned up NHS 24, they've said self-quarantine, just in case, can we stay for 14 days? Now, we gave them it was still a great rate for the landlord, so we got them to pay for 14 days and we charged them quite a big cleaning fee at the end just to make sure everything was okay. They were happy with that, the owner was happy, everybody was happy, and we moved a few guests, so it worked out perfectly. But that was quite lucky in that because we had other properties to put the guests into. But what happens if that happens in your property? Now, if someone gets symptoms, they have to phone NHS 24, they have not to go to hospitals or doctor's surgeries, they have to stay in the property and self-isolate and self-quarantine. And NHS 24 will probably take the safe option and say stay there for 14 days. So when they phone you up and say I'm self-isolating, you have two options. The first option being you let them stay, the second mean you get rid of them and kick them out. So let's explore the first option. So there's kind of two things that can happen with this. If you let them stay, then definitely charge them a big massive cleaning fee at the end to make sure that virus is gone from your property. But the first subcategory there is that they have money and it's all good. Listen, we need to stay for 14 days, let's agree a rate, they pay the money, they're there, it's all good. But what if someone's just here for a little city break or there for a couple of days at your property and say, yeah, I'm in your property for 14 days, but I don't have any money. And they're not going to pay you £100 a night because they simply don't have the money. Well, you're then faced with a dilemma, a choice. Do you book them out, or do you let them stay there free, or do you take a reduced rate? So you need to have your systems and procedures here and a document to send them to say this is our procedure in advance so that everyone gets treated the same. And again, if times come where you're not getting the guests from overseas, this might be a good thing because the people stuck here are going to stay in your property and give you that 14 days occupancy. But what is the chances of someone paying you for 14 days? It's probably 50-50, I don't know, but them paying you a full SA rate for 14 days when they were only here for a 2-day holiday, that might it might give you some challenges. So you might need to let them stay for free, or you might need to give them a discount, or if you're very lucky like we were, you get the full rate and a nice big cleaning fee at the end, meaning everyone's happy. So if you let them stay, that's cool. Again, it's coming into March, so you might have the occupancy, but you might choose to get them out. If you're a management company, your owner might want you to put them out. So how do you go about that? You need a system and a procedure. What are you going to say to the guests? Yes, the NHS have told you to self-quarantine. I want you out my apartment. So I can imagine the anti-Airbnb bashing media saying, rogue Airbnb landlord kicks out, Chinese guests or European guests onto the street to spread coronavirus to the whole community. So be aware that if you book somebody out, they only need to go on social media, take a picture of the property, name your company, name you, and that could be disastrous and you're in the papers for doing a supposed bad thing. But what if they can't pay you money? You have a business to run, so you might not have the option to let them stay there for free if they can't pay for 14 days, and you need to ask them to move on. So there isn't an answer to this, by the way. This is why I'm making the video. You can get some systems and procedures and checklists for you and your staff and your team to deal with, but think about this in advance. If you have multiple units and you're making good occupancy and you're making money, you can perhaps do the right thing and help some people that are massively in need and let them stay there at a reduced rate if need be. But if you're one person with one property and this is your sole source of income, then this could it could bankrupt you, it could really negatively affect you. So you need to think, one, if everything's kind of okay, could I do a few people a few favours? But what if things are really, really tough for you? You're not breaking even, you're losing money, all your future bookings are cancelled, and then this guest asks to stay in your property and say, hi, I don't have any money, but I want to stay for 2 weeks. These are questions you need to answer yourself. It depends on your own personality and your own business and financial circumstances. So this is something that worked out very well for us. I'm sure it's going to happen again. We've got hundreds of properties as a management company. We will see it again. We have our systems in place, but I'm just challenging you guys to think and ask yourselves what you guys would do faced with the same scenario of someone self-quarantining in your property. Have a great day.